yesterday's episode was juicy, and this week's episode was also a little bit juicy. Shannon and Ryan, and they're all like, excited to be moving in together and stuff. And Luke and Amy, their picture's gorgeous as well. Like, and again, they're really excited. Then it cuts to Hannah and Stephen, and the frost. Oh, the frost, man! It was like I was getting frostbite over here. It was so cold. Conversely, Polly and Adam are having a whale of a time. Someone's asked me, when was the time I was intimate with Adam? I'd have to say, this morning. I was like, rah. Is that you though? Is that you though? But when Luke and Amy walk in, yeah, that just changed the game a little bit. I feel like it's like Holly said. She's like, freaking Barbie and Ken. One gone, people thems. So I feel like they've really been treating us in Married at First Sight at the moment, because yesterday's episode was juicy, and this week's episode was also a little bit juicy. So I don't even know where to start with this one. So I think we'll just go through the couples. The new couples arrive to, I'm guessing, this apartment block that they're all staying in, and they're talking about going to the commitment ceremony, and like Sasha and Ross are all like, excited. She brings out this little Tina Turner number, and he's like, yeah, you look beautiful, like amazing. Nathan's like curling up Lacey's hair and stuff, and it's like, oh wow, this is amazing. And we get a shot like of Shannon and Ryan, and they're all like, excited to be moving in together and stuff, and their pitch looks really cool, and he's jumping on the bed, and I think he kind of breaks it. Luke and Amy, their picture's gorgeous as well, like, and again, they're really excited. Then it cuts to Hannah and Stephen, and the frost. Oh, the frost, man! It was like I was getting frostbite over here. It was so cold. She comes in and looking around and stuff, and she finds their picture, and she's like, "Oh my god, this couple seems like a lifetime ago." Do you know what I mean? Like, they're definitely not here now. And like, she's making a joke like, "Oh, you can sleep on the floor. I'm having the bed." And he's like, "It's alright, I'll take the sofa." Like, it's just dead, and they're both saying that like it just feels like there's a lot of tension in the air still. Nothing's really been resolved. They do a really good job, yeah, of kind of like showing all of the couples that were like really happy, and then they go to the ones who are just really, really miserable. So you've got Hannah and Stephen. Then I think it cuts to like Emma and Casper, and he looks pretty like just forlorn and just depleted of energy. They might have even like changed like the camera lens, whatever, to make it look a bit more grey, but it looked very, very dull, like just very unhappy. And I think he's like, I need to see more from Emma. He's kind of fed up of the honeymoon being brought up and stuff, and I think he's getting to the end of his tether. Then it cuts to like Rochelle and Orson, and again they just look really miserable. Like, he's like, this is just not fun. This is just not fun. We said we'd have fun. This is not fun. And she's like, to be honest, I'm just thinking about getting through the next couple of days and just get through. But I'm like, how are you gonna get through the next couple of days? Yeah, I mean, you're not giving him anything. Like, it's just really, really, yeah, really, really crappy. Conversely, Polly and Adam are having a whale of a time. She's getting all excited and stuff, getting ready, just being like, do you feel as though things have shifted and stuff? And he's like, yeah, they have, and it's like, I'm letting you kiss me, I'm letting you cuddle me and stuff, and she seems really happy about it, and again he seems a bit lighter as well. So this is the kind of the setup, right? This is the setup of the couples. Kieran and Christina, again, they look really happy as well, really excited about the dinner. So everyone's kind of set up. You kind of know who's good, who's bad, who's kind of in the middle, who's indifferent. So then we get to the actual dinner party, and Polly and Adam, the first one's in, and it's really cool seeing how the experts react to them. Obviously, they don't know anything either at the same time that we find things out. So, they're seeing like how comfortable Polly and Adam seem to be as they've walked in, which is again really cool. And they do seem like having like a laugh with each other and stuff, like a real, which they've said the whole time that they are like best friends. You know, I've not really been a big fan of him from the beginning, so it's been difficult for me to even understand why they're still there, if I'm honest. But you know, it seems as though that they're. I think, what did Polly say? She was just like, you know, if someone was to ask me, you know, when was the time I was intimate with Adam, I'd have to say, you know, this morning. I was like, rah. Is that you though? Is that you though? So yeah, she's obviously beside herself with joy. I think it's Alex and Holly that come in next, and again they're coming really happy, but the experts are quick to call out that look, we've seen them be happy and it turned on a dime, so you can't rely on that fact, to be fair. So that's true. It was Nathan and Lacey. It's Nathan and Lacey, and again they came in strong as well. And again, like Lacey come through with like this little Tina Turner jumpsuit thing. Like, yeah, okay, Lacey, Mister You, Mister You. So they look really strong. Then Holly and Alex tell the other two, because they, sorry, I missed that a bit. So before they've come to the dinner, Hannah and Stephen have knocked on Alex and Holly's door. So they've introduced themselves and stuff, and they're hugging it out, and you can quite clearly see that Hannah is very much wanting to talk to someone about their situation, because they didn't really waste much time in being like, yeah, you know, wedding was amazing, Hollywood, the honeymoon was dog doo doo, and that, you know, but she's really conscious about meeting everyone, and Holly's like, everyone's dead nice, everyone's really friendly and welcoming. And then they're asking like, you know, so what do you do? And Hannah's like, oh, I own a gym. And then she says to Alex, oh, you clearly got a gym. At which point, again, I don't know if it's just editing, but Stephen's face is like, all right. But then so is Holly's face as well. So then once they've gone, Holly's like, yeah, I'm just not sure what the dynamics are going to be like, and maybe like there'll be some clashes with this new couple. So anyway, fast forward, she then tells the group, whoever's there, of this new couple. I can't even remember the order of who comes in, but basically they're there. Then the new couples come in of Stephen and Hannah, and again it's quite obvious that, you know, they're not hand in hand. Experts pick up on that, and yeah, it is quite uncomfortable. And actually, I mean, I'll get into each couple in a second, but like, I feel like Hannah, as much as I didn't agree with what she did or actually didn't do, but at least threatened to do, I did feel as though he was being quite cold towards her and stuff, which was not very helpful. But anyway, then the rest of the couples come in, and they all land and stuff, and you know, Michelle and Orson are actually hand in hand, for at least for like a nanosecond. Emma and Casper, like, they're kind of arm in arm. Russ and Sasha, and they came in really strong. But I remember that they came in before the last two. So when Ryan and Shannon got there, they were like the last two to come in. Luke and Shannon and Ryan and Shannon and Luke and Amy. So the rest of the guys were already in there before everyone actually arrived. Actually, I just remembered this. Before everyone arrived, Polly's getting herself in all kinds of a tiz because she's hearing that this new couple are coming in, and obviously Honey's letting her know that she's petite, she's brunette, she owns her own gym, so she's already just being like, oh my god, this is Adam's perfect woman. And she tells her, you know, you best watch yourself, little girl, if you come chat to me. Like, so she's making it really obvious and very clear that, like, yo, I am insecure as hell. And I guess because she's been on such a high with all the love making, she's not looking to have no little brunette come in and mess up her intercourse plan. And Mel even called it. She was like, she's so into Adam. Like, she's so into him, and like, she's very much made lay to her claim, being just like, you know, that's my husband, that is my husband. She might have just peed on him. You know what I mean? Just cut up before and just peed all over him, being like, my very handsome husband. You know, and look, as I said, his aesthetic was really only in question when he was talking about someone else's aesthetic. So the fact that he's now kind of laid off that a little piece, I'm not looking to lay into his appearance. I mean, like, she likes him, cool. Yeah, so she's getting all bent out of shape about Hannah. But then when Ryan and Shannon appear, obviously Shannon's also very petite, she's brunette and stuff, and that's something. But when Luke and Amy walk in, yeah, that just changed the game a little bit. I feel like looking around at some of the different couples and stuff, I was just like, you would feel as though that you just got a booby, not a booby prize. That's not fair to say, but it's like Holly said. She's like, freaking Barbie and Ken, just walked in. Barbie and Ken, they just look so good. Even Paul had to say, God damn. God damn, they look good. They look really good, and they were dressed in sync and stuff. And I'm guessing the tan really worked really well. But they just looked really good together. They really did. And I think what's really nice is even in the taxi on the way there, Luke was just like, I just we're really good, and I hope I don't make anyone feel bad about it. But to be honest, I don't really care. Like I want to celebrate how good that we are, and they just got a really nice energy that kind of surrounds them as well. Like Amy is so like soft spoken, and she seems like just a kind person. Do you know what I mean? But not in like a crazy like loud way like Christina, but like just in a very demure, but very classy. Like just a nice person. She comes across like that. So they've come through, made everybody shook. Like, and you can see Alex's eyes. I think Mel at one point was like, "All right, gentlemen, stick your tongues back in your head," because everyone I think was just like, and almost a bit ungrateful about what they've got at home. Do you know what I mean? So, they're all kind of mingling and stuff, and everyone's kind of just giving their own kind of perspectives on their respective marriages and stuff. It's again very clear that Hannah and Stephen are just not on the same page. Like, he's as far away from her as possible. He's confided in, I want to say, Emma or maybe even Polly, about what went on honeymoon, which then lets the experts know that that there was a break of trust there. But you can see that Hannah's also trying to, she's trying to be comfortable, because I can only imagine, how difficult it must be to have had this situation with someone that you really do fancy and probably kind of want things to work. It hasn't really worked. They're not really speaking to you. You've now come into this thing where there's so many couples and stuff, and you're like, oh, that'd be really nice to have that. And the one person you can talk to isn't talking to you. So she's making like extra effort, like to kind of get herself back on track. Like, she made that speech, just being like, thank you everybody for making me feel so welcome. And I kind of feel back to myself now. And then he makes some really snidey comment, just being like, "Oh, good for you," or something like that. Um, and I just thought, do you know what? It's one thing to be a little bit lackluster and a little bit down because things haven't worked out in the way that you wanted to, and probably still okay to feel a little bit bitter and angry about the fact that you know something that you've told her she was potentially going to reveal all on camera or whatever. But you've chosen to come back and you've chosen to stay. Like, you could have just been like, I'm not going. Like, I don't rate you that much actually. I'm actually not even going to pretend, because the whole vibe of it was that like he was not interested. He wasn't talking to her. So when they all got seated and stuff, like where they were sat, it very much was like he was talking to everyone else but her. Like, he wouldn't even make eye contact with her. Like, I think at one point she was trying to be quite tactile and like take something off his t-shirt, and Paul even said like, she's doing all the right things, like to try and like show that she's interested in talking, that kind of stuff, and he's not even making eye contact with her. But I thought was like really petty. And listen, I can be a petty Betty. Do you know what I mean? I can be a petty Betty, but I feel like in that environment, you know, again, we don't see everything off camera, so again, I don't know, but just from what I'm seeing, I'm like, it doesn't make much sense to why you've stayed then if you're not going to even talk to her. And I can see that was, that you can only sit down there and take that for so long before you're like, what? Anyway, so again, around the table, everything is pretty cushy. Everyone is kind of vibes in, and everyone's kind of getting on. Holly notices very quickly that Alex is being supremely talkative, but not to her, to Amy. And I don't know, it's a weird one, right? Because I have definitely been like, I'm not a jealous person, right? I'm not at all. But I do remember one instance when I was out with my other half at the time, and we're at a wedding party, and I just remember like we'd gotten, bearing in mind that like this is a wedding of my friends, so if anything they were the ones that didn't actually know many people, but I kind of just found that like this guy was very much just made a beeline for my other half and was just talking to them a lot. And no, this again was fine. Do you know what I mean? But you know, when it's just like, well, I don't know who you are. We've got no affiliation to who this person is, and you have been in like in-depth luck conversation with this person like the entire night. And as I said, I'm not a jealous person, but like when you've got your friends that are then coming over to you, being like, who is that? Like, you know, they've been talking to me, and it's like, you know, it becomes a little bit like, are you might give me off here a little bit, like, what are you doing? Obviously, you know, deep down that like there is nothing, but at the same point you also know that people do all sorts. So I remember like, and to be fair, I didn't make any issue of it at the time. It's only when we went home and after the wedding had finished, and I was like, yeah, I felt a bit of a way, like, you know, about this dude that was talking to you, like, and even as I was saying it, I felt like I was being irrational, like, this is so stupid that I'm even saying this. But I think when it's your partner, I think because they're your partner, you are allowed some degrees of irrationality at some times. Do you know what I mean? Because you are only human. And I think for Holly, that was building up because he would, and again, it's the edit. We don't know how much he actually spoke to her, but from what we saw, like his whole, it's not like we're talking together and we're having a conversation all together. Like you physically got your back to your wife, and other people can see that like you're actively interested in this woman, like, and you're not really giving much attention to your wife. And yeah, I don't think she was, I don't think she was wrong to feel how she felt. And I think, you know, her getting up and stuff was probably just a way of managing how she was feeling. You know, not wanting to like burst into tears or, you know, shame up herself or get angry. But anyway, we'll come back to them. So Kieran and Christina, they're good. They're fine. They're happy. They're shrieking for everybody else. I think their honesty box question was like, their honesty box question was, excluding themselves, who would you rate as the best and worst couple? The best couple they said was Nathan and Lacey, which I thought was really, really cool. And then the worst couple was Hannah and Stephen, which was absolutely no shock horror. But and to be fair, Orson and Michelle could have got the same, I thought, based on what her honesty box question said anyway. Jesus. Who else was there? I think, to be honest, I think actually it was Shannon and Ryan that kicked off the honesty box. And the question that he asked her was, where do you see this marriage going, or something like that? Or do you see it being successful, or something along them lines? And she basically was like, if we just keep doing what we're doing right now, it's going to be blessed. You know, because there's literally been nothing. You snore a little bit, but apart from that, it's just been plain sailing. It's been so good getting to know you, like having a laugh with you. Like, it's just been perfect. And again, you look around the table and you just like, rah, like, there are some people that are in that zone. There are some people who are not in that zone at all. Oh, and actually, just before the honesty box as well, there was a point where Hannah again attempted to talk to, like, I think someone had asked, I think it was Orson who had asked, he's like, I can feel the ice from here. And he was like, you know, what has been, in fact, it wasn't Orson that asked her, but someone had said, like, what is the problem with you and Stephen? And she was like, ask him. And then he started to explain and went back to like the food thing. I don't think he even got to the off camera comment or whatever, before she chimed in. And he was like, I'm not doing this here. I'm not doing this here. And again, he did look exhausted. And then I think she made a comment about like, I feel like I want to talk to you about this and I can't talk to you about it. And then went into like, you know, I feel like you want to kind of like shell me, like, and make me like smaller than what I am. And he was like, don't do that, because you're making me out to be some kind of coercive, controlling, like, you know, manipulative dude. And she's like, I'm not saying it's manipulative, but I do feel like you do try and he's like, look, we're going to just leave that conversation there, because if we continue down this path, you are going to set me off. So let's just leave it until we can be in a situation when there's like the experts and stuff. But they were like, it looks as though that he's just being emotionally, he's not allowing himself to be emotionally vulnerable with her, and actually passing the book to someone else to kind of deal with. But he did say, he's like, I feel exhausted. I feel like the last 5 days have been very difficult. And I can only imagine, like, I don't know what you guys might be like, but like I hate when someone talks over me. I just find it so frustrating because like everyone should be able to speak and have their moment to speak. You don't need to be trampling all over my sentence. And actually, the more that you do that, I will just stop talking. I'm not even gonna fight you for it. Like, where are we? Are we at school? Like, are we grown adults that should be able to kind of like hear a thought, respond, think about what you want to say, respond to the thought, and vice versa. Like, if we can't do that, then I'm not doing this with you. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from there. But I do think, you know, she was upset. She left the table, and I think, I don't know. I'm just confused about like why he's still there. If he doesn't trust her and he doesn't rate it, and like, you know, there was one scene when on the way to the dinner party in the taxi, and there couldn't have been further. You could have driven a whole boatload of Viking boats through that thing. Like, it was huge. The underpass was massive. Do you know what I mean? It was wide like Hagrid's toe. Do you know what I mean? That space was massive. So I don't really understand. You're not really, because he was like, you know, I am trying. But I was like, but you're not though. Like, again, I understand that like if what she did or what you perceived that she was going to do or threatened to do was so egregious to you that you're like, I don't think I can come back from that. But I also don't think it warrants like being. It was like he was being mean. It was like, and you know, again, if people deal with things differently, I suppose. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just got the vibe. I thought it wasn't really very fair to physically be there, but to be absolutely absent just for you. So you know, it's only me and you. Only me and you are in this really, and you've got no other support system like they've mentioned. And I'm not even going to be there for you really. Like, I just felt for her a little bit. But notwithstanding, if she was going to do what he thought she was going to do, that's also really awful. So it's a difficult one. Oh, by the way, Luke did the most like adorable speech as well about like, let's toast to dear friends and not strangers, because like, you know, strangers, everyone's a stranger until you like form an amazing relationship with them. Yeah, that was a really, really awesome speech. Like, I really like that. That's Nathan. Like, Lacey was like, oh, you're gonna hate this. Like, are you falling for me? You're close to falling in love with me or something like that. And he was very like measured about what he said, and he took his time, but he basically was like, you know, I'm falling for you, absolutely, and that's growing and growing like every day. So they look good and solid. They're good and solid. Sasha and Ross went home, so because I think Sasha wasn't feeling very well. Polly asks Adam if he thinks that they've moved out the friend zone, and he's like, yeah, and gets this whole rapturous applause from everybody, and was like, you know, it definitely feels like a lot more like a relationship now, and stuff. So again, I'm just not convinced though. I'm not convinced. Like, he didn't actually, from what Holly was saying, like, he was unfazed by Hannah and any of the other girls that came through. So that is a good sign, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure that there aren't that many more weeks left of the show, so we'll get to find out if they're actually still together. Then I think it then goes to. Did they ask Luke and Amy one? I can't think if they asked Luke and Amy one, or if they asked Stephen and Hannah one either. I can't remember. But then they asked Rochelle and Orson. So Orson was to ask Rochelle, do you think I am the man that you need? I feel that Rochelle hates this man. I feel like she hates him, and perhaps hates him even more for wasting her time, because I don't know personally as any man could sit down there and have your manhood brought into question. I think there's something very, very instinctive and tribal, I think, when it comes to your manhood being brought into question. Like, look, I know, for example, like, my blinds fell down probably about 2 months ago, right? And they're still over there in the corner. Still over there in the corner. Now, I do not have the knowledge or the blind building acumen to return said blinds to the gaping hole across my window. So like, it's like now I've got my ring light on and it's just a beacon of light in my room. Yeah, people can just see, just see. But you know, I am surrounded by trees and stuff, so it should be okay. But the point I'm making is like that whole man point thing there to me is a dent to my ego. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely a dent to my ego. If you put me in a room full of people and a room full of successful, some non-successful couples, and you brought my manhood into question and being like, I don't think you like it. You know, I need a man that's going to be honest, and you know it's going to be full of integrity, you know, which I think are features that you lack. And you know, I need to be able to feel that I can respect the person that I'm with, and you know that they're a leader, you know, and someone like, and I just don't think those are the qualities that you possess. You know, she tore that man up and down round about the time, and he took it well. He just like, safe, cool, I guess next couple. And he was like, you know, I know who I am, I'm comfortable with who I am. um but I'm like, fam, this, she doesn't like you much. Like, I would just be like, let it go. You've said this now a few times, and I think that would be enough for me to like kick up the table and be like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. You're not gonna sit around here and have people believe that I'm a disingenuous person or that I don't have integrity. Like, you know, you need to get the hell off my back about this acting thing. It's just a job. Who used to say that actors, by the way, cannot be genuine people? You act a role because that's your job. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember what she said that she did. She owns her own business. But you know, if you're a sumo wrestler, like for a living, and that's your sport, do you spend your days just sitting on people? Do you know what I mean? I can't think of another example, but like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just a job. It doesn't, you know, you being able to act a role doesn't necessarily mean that you are a duplicitous person. And you know, yet like the whole thing about him being a bit of a yes man, that might just be his coping mechanism. It might just be the way he's raised. It might just be that he, you know, it's a path of least resistance. But at the end of the day, if he ain't for you, allow it then. Do you know what I mean? I know that Charlene was like, maybe she's saying it because she wants him to fight back. Don't give me no play games or mind games. I'm not into mind games. You just think you're a big 48-year-old woman, yeah. If you know already that he's not doing it for you, then allow it. Allow it. Like, but stop coming up on the TV and calling him a liar and a ginnel. I don't think that's fair. And he comes across like a really nice guy. Do you know what I mean? He really does. Holly and Alex's situation escalates. So she eventually, after what looks like a long time of him not talking to her, she eventually gets up. He's like, she's looking for attention. She comes back and she's like, can we go for a chat? But in the meantime of her being gone the first time, he's saying to one of the guys, like, oh man, this is BS, man. Can't take this BS, man. And I think the experts even say like he's completely unaware, or is appearing to be unaware, that his actions have also like had an impact to how she feels. So when she does ask him to come outside and stuff, like all these motivating is like, I can't believe you're doing this, like, you know. And she's like, that's why I pulled you away. She's like, yeah, but everyone's going to be looking at us and stuff. Like, he's so like bothered about these people that like he hasn't known for that long and what they think of him. Like, he's not even paying mind to what Holly's saying. So she's like, you know, I feel like I can't communicate with you and I'm trying to talk to you. I don't think you're hearing me and stuff. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, and he's kind of just shut her down, do you know what I mean? And said, look, you know, and basically she's had to promise that she's not going to talk about this thing. And he's like, you know, why are you doing it here at the worst possible time at the dinner party? And she's like, I should be able to talk to my husband about something that's bothering me, you know, but I keep just getting this and stuff from you. And he's like, oh, whatever, like, and then he gets up and goes back, and she's just sat there all broken, like, you know. It's just a shame because it's like you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around you. Like, if I was out somewhere and there was something pretty immediate that I thought someone was doing that was peeing me off. I mean, I know I just gave that example of that thing with my partner at the time, but it wasn't annoying me so much that it was like, I am literally gonna rage in a minute. And you can see that this was really bothering her, like really, really bothering her. And the fact that other people started to talk about it as well, she's now getting embarrassed about it. So, you know, but he's shut that down. Then when they eventually get back on the table and stuff, the honest, like, she's again attempts to talk to him, and he's like, nah, like, I've told you respectfully to stop talking to me. don't talk to me anymore. And she's like, but why can't I talk to you? She's like, I've said to you, don't talk to me. Yeah. And then she's like, can we at least speak about it later without it blowing up? And he shakes her hand. And he's like, I've asked you and I need you to respect that. So she can't talk to him about it. Then when the honesty box comes out, he asks her, how do you think we can improve our communication? And she's like, I need to feel as though I can talk to you without it being a problem, or like all these things that you're doing, like with the, because as she's talking, he's like, who told you couldn't talk? Who told you that? Who told you that? Like, it's just giving, you best watch your mouth, because you're 2 seconds away from being cut off, and I'm like, fam, like, how are you, like, you're more concerned about other people thinking there's a chink in your relationship and stuff, and I get it, like, people can be private, they don't want their business being aired out publicly, that is fine, but you do appreciate that you are in a public television program experiment where people are going to be talking about your situation. So it just seems a little bit redundant that you're like, we can talk about it off camera. We can talk about it off camera. Like, you're doing it for the cameras, and it's like, you're not seeing that your actions have had a direct causal link to how she's feeling in this particular moment. And you're like, imagine the roles reversed, yeah, and some fire things come true, right? And she's spending all her time just talking to him with her foot cock up. You know what I mean? Foot cock up and just, yeah, babe. Yeah, with the boy. Yeah, babe. Yeah, babe. Oh, you must go gym as well, babe. Oh, babe. Like, I was all interested in that, asking about last relationships. Like, you are so invested in that conversation, you ain't turned around to Honey once. Unless you have, and it gets edited out. But, all that kind of, like, body language, posture, and you can't see that I'm vexed behind you. It's taking you this long. Where was the check-in? Where was the little rub on my knee to, like, you alright, babe? Like, how you doing? How's the food? Like, just the check-in, man. Because that's sometimes all people need, just to know that. Because he's all like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go and chat her up while she's right here. I'm sat next to my wife, and she sat next to her husband. It's like, that's not the point, though. A lot more has happened in a lot less time, in the same flagrant way. So, like, don't be like, don't be acting like you don't know what she's talking about. So then you've got Emma and Casper, and this might be the first time, yeah, that I've actually really had any kind of sympathy for Casper. And sympathy is probably too far. Sympathy is too far. It's not sympathy. I can't say that. But it's definitely like, at least okay. Because obviously, I keep going to call her Penny. This is my own fault, because I've called her Penny before. Because Emma has got this larger than life personality, and I've said it before, that sometimes it doesn't show that vulnerability. So I kind of understand. But when the way he said it was just funny, because he was like, when you're like this with everyone else and like you're having fun, when you're having fun with everybody, yeah, like I just feel like I can't relate to you, like we're just very very different people, you know. Whereas you seeing you with your sister and everything, last week. It's not even funny when you're broken and crying. I really feel I can connect with that. When you're sad. Sorry. Oh dear. So I'm just like, bro. Okay. Okay. But I do kind of understand what he's trying to say. That she seems more vulnerable in the moments. But either way, he got vexed. Basically kicked over the cameraman, and like, she needs to do something as well. It's not just me. Like, I'm fed up with this BS and bad. I'm like, right, okay. And she's like, whew. So it's all kicking off there. I don't know what's gonna mean for next week. But again, I'm not hopeful for them to anyway. So I'm hoping that one of them, or both of them preferably, just like, let's just done this dance, please. Done it. Because when you compare that then to couples who actually have got like at least a fighting chance. It's like, what are you guys even fighting for? You know, I'm sure Polly and Adam are only sleeping together because it's like, well, we best do something to stay here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see them becoming like some long term thing, but we'll see. And then obviously it ends then with them showing for next week's episode the couples who are definitely in crisis. So again, I'm like, Rochelle, please put this poor man out of his misery. Like, you know, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Prisoner Cell Block H, and you are one of the wardens that hates him. That hates him. Let the man go, man. Let him be free. You know what I mean? Just like, you need some kind of like holy water just to be like, I don't know what it is, man. But you came for him hard. You came for him hard. Let the man go. And then who else is in crisis? Alex and Holly. Because again, he's just like, you know, because I feel like it's just his way or the highway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter, because you can really tell the mettle of someone when things go wrong. Never mind when things are going well. What about when things are going wrong? And I feel like it's either his way or no way. And I don't know how she's got the patience for it, really. Because you see all them modes, all them mood shifts and walking on eggshells, and you must silence yourself, like, because I've said, I've been loving that a long time. And then obviously you've got Hannah and Stephen as well. And I guess it comes out then at that point that he's like, yo, I'm full of resentment. Now, listen, I can be a petty Betty, yeah. I can be. And look, there are some people who you wrong them, and that's it. That's it. There's no room for no maneuver. There's no takesy backsies. There's no nothing. Like, he is well within his rights. I mean, it might mean that he misses out on something amazing because he could have just offered forgiveness, but whatever. But if he genuinely thinks that what she did or was about to do was so egregious, he's like, I'm not offering no apology. I'm just bitter and I don't want this. Then realistically, he hasn't got to do that. He hasn't got to accept or believe, because she's like, oh, you know, you don't believe me. And he's like, no, I don't. So he's hanging on to that. His choice. But then I do think then you've got no business being there. You don't need experts to help you with that. You're a grown man. You can either get past it or you can't. And, you know, I'm kind of in your camp a little bit, that like, if you did something I thought was going to hurt my family one time after like a couple of days of me knowing you, that's a streak I'm not rating in nobody. I'm too big and too grey back for that. But then it's also my responsibility to not give you false hope and let you know that I'm trying. I mean, you ain't trying nothing. You ain't trying anything. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens next week. But, yeah, this again was a really good episode. And, again, a good balance between people who are really happy, who I think do have some potential. Luke and Amy. Ryan and let's go to Shannon. Luke and Nathan and Lacey. Kieran and Christina, Ross and Sasha, don't really think there's anybody else. Rochelle and Orson, nah. Polly and Adam, nah. Emma and Casper, nah. Stephen and Hannah, absolutely nah. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, then please drop me a like and subscribe. That'd be great. Thank you very much. And let me know what your thoughts were. I'd love to know. Drop them in the comments box. Yeah, for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.